Today in History, April 21.
753 BC to Romulus founds Rome traditional date.
43 BC. Battle of Mutina. Mark Antony is again defeated in battle by Aulus Hirtius, who is killed. Antony fails to capture Mutina, and Decimus Brutus is murdered shortly after.
900 The Laguna copperplate inscription. The commander-in-chief of the Kingdom of Tondo, as represented by the Honorable Jayadua. Lord Minister of Pele pardons from all debt the Honorable Nimweran and his relations.
1092 The Diocese of Pisa is elevated to the rank of Metropolitan Archdiocese by Pope Urban II.
1506 The three-day Lisbon massacre comes to an end with the slaughter of over 1,900 suspected Jews by Portuguese Catholics.
1509 Henry VIII ascends the throne of England on the death of his father, Henry VII.
1526 The last ruler of the Lodi dynasty, Ibrahim Lodi, is defeated and killed by Babur in the First Battle of Panipat.
1615 The Wignacourt Aqueduct is inaugurated in Malta.
1782 The city of Radonakisen, now known internationally as Bangkok, is founded on the eastern bank of the Chao Phraya River by King Buddha Yadfa Chulalo.
1789 John Adams sworn in as first US Vice President, 9 days before George Washington.
1789 George Washington's reception at Trenton is hosted by the ladies of Trenton as he journeys to New York City for his first inauguration.
1792 Tiradentes, a revolutionary leading a movement for Brazil's independence, is hanged, drawn, and quartered.
1802 12,000 Wahhabis sack Karbala, killing over 3,000 inhabitants.
1806 action of April 21st, 1806. A French frigate escapes British forces off the coast of South Africa.
1809 Austrian army corps are driven from Landshut by a First French Empire army led by Napoleon as to French corps to the north hold off the main Austrian army on the first day of the Battle of Ekmal.
1821 Benderli Ali Pasha arrives in Constantinople. As the new Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire, he remains in power for only 9 days, before being sent into exile.
1836 Texas Revolution. The Battle of San Jacinto. Republic of Texas forces under Sam Houston defeat troops under Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna.
1856 Australian labor movement. Stonemasons and building workers on building sites around Melbourne march from the University of Melbourne to Parliament House to achieve an 8-hour day.
1894 Norway formally adopts the Krag-Jørgensen bolt-action rifle as the main arm of its armed forces, a weapon that would remain in service for almost 50 years.
1898 Spanish-American War. The United States Navy begins a blockade of Cuban ports when the U.S. Congress issued a declaration of war on April 25. It declared that a state of war had existed from this date.
1914 Uranga Incident. A German arms shipment to Mexico is intercepted by the U.S. Navy near Veracruz.
1918 World War I. German fighter is Manfred von Richthofen, better known as the Red Baron, is shot down and killed over Vaux-sur-Somme in France.
1926 Al-Baqi Cemetery, former site of the mausoleum of Shia Imams, is leveled to the ground by Wahhabis.
1934 The Surgeon's Photograph. The most famous photo allegedly showing the Loch Ness Monster is published in the Daily Mail. In 1994, it is revealed to be a hoax.
1945 World War II, Soviet forces south of Berlin at Zossen attack the German High Command headquarters.
1946 The U.S. Weather Bureau published a paper which stated the width of a tornado had struck the city of Timberlake, South Dakota was for miles 6.4 kilometers, which would make this the widest tornado ever documented in history.
1948 United Nations Security Council Resolution 47 relating to Kashmir conflict is adopted.
1952 a Secretary's Day, now Administrative Professionals Day, is first celebrated.
1958 United Airlines Flight 736 collides with a United States Air Force fighter jet near Arden, Nevada in what is now Enterprise, Nevada.
1960 to Brasilia, Brazil's capital, is officially inaugurated. At 9:30, the three powers of the Republic are simultaneously transferred from the old capital. Rio de Janeiro.
1962, the Seattle World's Fair Century 21 Exposition opens. It is the first World's Fair in the United States since World War II. 1963, the first election of the Universal House of Justice is held, marking its establishment as the supreme governing institution of the Baha'i Faith.
1964, a Transit 5BN satellite fails to reach orbit after launch. As it re-enters the atmosphere, 2.1 pounds O, 95 kg of radioactive plutonium in its SNAP RTG power source is widely dispersed.
1965. The 1964 to 1965 New York World's Fair opens for its second and final season.
1966 Rastafari movement. Haile Selassie of Ethiopia visits Jamaica, an event now celebrated as Grunation Day.
1967, a few days before the general election in Greece, Colonel George Papadopoulos leads a coup d'état, establishing a military regime that lasts for 7 years. 1972 astronauts John Young and Charles Duke fly Apollo 16's Apollo lunar module to the moon's surface, the fifth NASA Apollo program crewed lunar landing.
1975 Vietnam War. President of South Vietnam, Nguyen Vien Thu flees Saigon as Zun LC, the last South Vietnamese outpost blocking a direct North Vietnamese assault on Saigon falls.
1977, Annie opens on Broadway.
1982, baseball. Rollie Fingers of the Milwaukee Brewers becomes the first pitcher to record 300 saves.
1985, the compound of the militant group The Covenant, The Sword, and the Arm of the Lord surrenders to federal authorities in Arkansas after a 2-day government siege. 1987, the Tamil Tigers are blamed for a car bomb that detonates in the SRI Lankan capital city of Colombo, killing 106 people.
1989 Tiananmen Men Square protests of 1989 in Beijing. Around 100,000 students gather in Tiananmen Square to commemorate Chinese reform leader Hu Yaobang.
1993, the Supreme Court in La Paz, Bolivia, sentences former dictator Luis Garc Ameza to 30 years in jail without parole for murder, theft, fraud, and violating the Constitution.
2004, 5 suicide car bombers target police stations in and around Basra, killing 74 people and wounding 160.
2010, the controversial Kharkov Pact, Russian-Ukrainian naval base for gas treaty, is signed in Kharkiv, Ukraine, by Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych and Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. It was unilaterally terminated by Russia on March 31, 2014.
2012, 2 trains are involved in a head-on collision near Sloterdijk, Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, killing 1 person and injuring 116 others.
2014, the American city of Flint, Michigan switches its water source to the Flint River, beginning the ongoing Flint water crisis, which has caused lead poisoning in up to 12,000 people and 15 deaths from Legionnaire's disease, ultimately leading to criminal indictments against 15 people, 5 of whom have been charged with involuntary manslaughter.
2019 8 bombs explode at churches, hotels, and other locations in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday. More than 250 people are killed.
2021 Indonesian Navy submarine KRI Nanggala 402 sinks in the Bali Sea during a military drill, killing all 53 on board.
Civil Service Day, India.
Granation de Rastafari.
Heroic defense of Veracruz, Mexico.
King Pansok's birthday, North Korea.
Kartini Day, Indonesia.
Local Self-Government Day, Russia.
National Tea Day, United Kingdom.
National Tree Planting Day, Kenya.
Queen or King's official birthday, Falkland Islands.
Tiradentes Day, Brazil.
Vietnam Book Day.
San Jacinto Day, Texas.